Have you ever listened to a voicemail that wasn't supposed to exist? I have, and even today, I still keep that message saved on an old phone I can never bring myself to throw away. My name is Lucas. Everything changed on a rainy Tuesday evening because of a voicemail that arrived 3 days too late. At first, I thought it was just a technical glitch. By the end of that week, I realized it was something far more disturbing. 3 years ago, I worked as an insurance investigator. Most of my job involved proving ordinary explanations for unusual events, missing valuables, house fires, car accidents. I believed every mystery had a logical answer. That belief ended with one phone call, or rather, one voicemail. It started after my older brother, Adam, disappeared during a business trip. Police searched for weeks. His car was eventually found abandoned near a cliff overlooking the ocean. Inside were his wallet, his watch, and his phone. But Adam was gone. The investigation slowly came to an end. Everyone assumed he had fallen into the sea. No body was ever found. Months passed. Life moved on. At least, everyone else's did. I never stopped hoping. Exactly 1 year after his disappearance, I bought a new phone. As I transferred my contacts, an unknown notification appeared. One new voicemail. That made no sense. The voicemail was time-stamped, 8:43 p.m. The strange part wasn't the time. It was the date. The message had supposedly been recorded the night before. Impossible. Adam had vanished a year earlier. With shaking hands, I pressed play. Static filled the speaker. Then, my brother's voice. "Lucas, if you're hearing this, I don't have much time." Behind him, I could hear crashing waves and what sounded like heavy rain. He whispered, "They lied. It wasn't an accident." Then his voice suddenly became urgent. "Don't trust." The message cut off. Just like that. I replayed it at least 20 times. It was definitely Adam. The same laugh between words. The same habit of clearing his throat before speaking. No artificial voice could imitate those tiny details. Someone wanted me to hear that message. But why now? The police dismissed it immediately. A delayed server upload. A copied recording. A prank. Every explanation sounded possible. None of them felt right. Because there was one detail I hadn't told them, at the very end of the voicemail. After the recording officially ended, I could hear a train whistle. Only one train line passed near the cliffs where Adam disappeared, and it had been permanently closed 5 years before he vanished. I decided to investigate on my own. The abandoned railway still existed. Hidden beneath overgrown trees, the tracks stretched toward an old coastal tunnel. Locals avoided the place. They said it was dangerous after years of neglect. I wasn't looking for ghost stories. I was looking for answers. Inside the tunnel, my flashlight caught something unusual. Fresh footprints. Someone had been there recently. They led to a rusted maintenance door hidden behind tangled vines. The lock had been cut, not broken, opened professionally. My pulse quickened. The room beyond looked untouched. Dust covered old electrical equipment. Broken control panels lined the walls. But one corner was perfectly clean. A folding chair, a portable radio, several empty water bottles. Someone had been using the abandoned tunnel as a hideout. Then I noticed a small digital recorder lying beneath the chair. Its battery still worked. There was only one audio file. I pressed play. A man's voice filled the room. "This location is compromised. We're moving him tonight." Another voice answered. "What about his family?" "They'll believe he's dead." The recording ended. No names, no clues, just enough to make my heart race. Before I could leave, I heard footsteps outside the room. Slow, careful. Someone else was in the tunnel. I switched off my flashlight. The footsteps came closer, then stopped just outside the doorway. I held my breath. A beam of light swept across the floor. Whoever it was, they were searching for someone. Me. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, the footsteps faded into the distance. I waited several more minutes before escaping through another service exit leading into the forest. I never saw the person following me, but I knew they had been there. Over the next few days, I researched the tunnel's history. Decades earlier, it had secretly connected to an abandoned communications station used during emergency evacuations. Most people had forgotten it existed. Then something unexpected happened. An elderly retired railway engineer contacted me after seeing a newspaper article about my investigation. He quietly said, "I know why you received that voicemail." We met the next morning. He carried an old maintenance logbook. Inside were records of emergency communication equipment once installed beneath the tunnel. He explained that damaged voicemail signals occasionally became trapped in outdated relay hardware during severe storms. Extremely rare, but not impossible. I interrupted him. "So Adam recorded that message 1 year earlier?" The engineer nodded slowly. "Yes. The storm simply released it much later." For the first time, the impossible had a possible explanation, but it still didn't explain one thing. Who was Adam trying to warn me about? Weeks later, police reopened the investigation using the recorder I had found. The abandoned tunnel became the center of a new search. Hidden beneath a collapsed maintenance room, they discovered evidence proving that a criminal group had secretly used the old railway to move kidnapped witnesses for years. Among the recovered files was Adam's name. He hadn't disappeared by accident. He had uncovered something he was never meant to see. His final voicemail wasn't a goodbye. It was a warning. Months passed. Justice finally caught up with the people responsible. Families who had spent years searching for missing loved ones finally received answers. I visited Adam's memorial one last time. For the first time, I wasn't angry. I wasn't searching. I was grateful. Because even after losing everything, my brother still found a way to protect others. Just as I was about to leave, my phone vibrated. Another voicemail notification appeared. No caller ID, no number, no timestamp. Only 1 second long. I frowned and pressed play. At first, there was silence. Then, very softly, I heard Adam laugh, not in fear, not in pain, just the same warm laugh I remembered from childhood. The recording ended. No words, nothing else. I smiled through tears. Maybe it was only corrupted data. Maybe it was coincidence. Or maybe some goodbyes find their way home, even when they arrive years late. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe this channel to see more heart-touching story. See you in the next video.